Kia ora, my name is Laura Vincent. I write the food blog hungryandfrozen.com, and I'm also writing my first cookbook. I am proud to support marriage equality in New Zealand. I think it's incredibly important, and though I am no expert on what I'm about to say, I do have a lot of feelings, and if you'll bear with me, I'll just talk you through a few of them. Some arguments that I've heard against marriage equality include, it's Adam and Eve, not Adam and Steve. What if you're just not Christian? Or if you are, but you're not bigoted? The teachings of the Bible do not apply to those who do not believe in them, nor to the laws governing marriage. Cool, so now we don't ever have to use this argument ever again, right? It's all cleared up. Likewise, people being free to marry who they love and are committed to, it's not going to affect your marriage in any way or weaken it. And if it does, doesn't that say more about your relationship than anyone else's? Another argument that I see around is, but marriage is about raising children. Specifically, 2 men or 2 women cannot raise a child. Well, no, because infertile men and women, old men and women just not planning to ever have children, they get married all the time. It's quite insulting to insinuate that single or unmarried parents don't do a good job raising children, and indeed that all women are good for is bearing children. The human population is in zero danger of dying out. And frankly, how you raise a child depends on what kind of person you are, not your sexuality. There's also the argument, but they have civil unions already, so shush. Well, the recognition and rights involved with civil unions are different to marriage. And what does this teach our youth? That if you are a young lesbian, gay, bisexual, queer, pansexual, transgender person, your future is not worth as much, that you are not worth as much as a person who identifies as heterosexual? The fact that my partner, who happens to be male, and I, are somehow read as superior in society makes me feel sick. Because we are not. What if he was a female? What then? Love is not a meritocracy. You talk of slippery slopes, of marriage equality meaning that people are going to want to suddenly marry their relatives, which is so different that you can't possibly compare it. Or of whole football teams wanting to get married, which I frankly think sounds kind of lovely. But what about the slippery slope of discriminating against people in society, of telling them that they have to work and contribute, be Kiwis, and yet they're below other people somehow? Where will that slippery slope lead to? Where has it led to? There are some terrifying suicide statistics to answer that. As a side note, if you've ever written a letter to the editor, or even just discussed the words one law for all in regards to, say, land ownership, I feel like you really can't argue against marriage equality, can you? Just a little theory I have. To end on a positive note, what will marriage equality bring to New Zealand? It'll bring happiness. It'll make us a leading nation in working to remove discrimination and promote equality amongst its people. Not that human rights should be some kind of middle table, but isn't that a nice thing? It means that young people who grow up and realize, not choose, but realize that they have feelings for a particular person will know that those feelings are as valid as anyone else's, and that straight does not have to be the default. It's hard enough being a young person, but being weighted down by fear and shame about who you are is just not something anyone should have to bear. And it'll probably be really good for the economy, all these people being able to get married, rushing out and buying dresses and suits and catering and venue hiring and thousands of butterflies. Marriage has been redefined so many times. For example, to allow divorce. What is one more time, and for a really good reason? Once again, I proudly and strongly support marriage equality in New Zealand, and I really hope that you do too. Thank you so much for your time.